Population our greatest resource. Dear learners, today India is considered as a leading nation in the world in terms of human power. One of the major contributory factors for this global standing has been the young, educated and productive people of our country. They are contributing to the development of not only our country, but many of the foreign countries also. In this context, population is an asset for the economy, the greatest resource of the country rather than a liability. Let us try to understand how population of our country can be viewed as a greatest resource. We are using the word population to mean the collection of people living in a given geographical area or territory. This is how it is used in the census. The collection of people is seen and understood primarily in terms of number. But population is also considered as a resource, a human resource. We all know that the gains which are cultivated in the fields, minerals that are mined and goods which are manufactured in factories are also produced by people. People of the country produce and develop various facilities and services to make their lives comfortable. The facilities, whether these are means of transport and communication, schools, colleges, hospitals, electricity producing units, infrastructure for irrigation and others, play a significant role in the development of a country. For producing and developing all such facilities and converting them into useful resources, useful being play the role of the best resources. Without human beings, other resources cannot be developed and utilized properly. Therefore, the number as well as the quality of people collectively is the real and ultimate resource of a country. What the factors that influence the role of population as the human resource? You may infer from the earlier discussion that the education, health, nutritional status of the people and their specialized training determine the quality of population as a human resource. But besides these, there are key socio-demographic factors that have significant impact on the role of population as a resource. These are distribution of population, growth of population, population composition. We will try to understand these three factors. Let us begin with distribution of population. Natural resources like forests or iron ore or coal are not found evenly in the world and also within our country. The same is the case with human resources. They are not evenly spread everywhere in the world and their numbers keep on changing. The spread of population over an area, maybe in a state of the entire country, is known as the distribution of population. You will find it very interestingly when you look at the map of India. It shows how the population of India is spread across. This has been shown through dots. Each dot represents 5 lakh persons. As you see, in some states the number of dots is less. Even if the area is substantially large, it means the population in these states is either widely spread or moderately spread. But in some states, the dots are very close to one another, so close that those parts in the map look almost painted. In them, the spread of population is very dense. Density of population. For determining the density, the number of people living in a specific territory is divided by the total area of that territory. This provides an average number of persons living per square kilometer in the territory. For example, let us assume that the population of a district is 2,50,000 and its area is 1000 square kilometer. The density of the population of this district can be calculated as follows. The map shows that the density of population in India is uneven. It varies from one state to another because unfavorable means harsh climatic condition, rugged terrain and poor soil fertility are main responsible for the low density. Rich soil, abundance of rainfall, developed irrigational facilities, moderate climate and urbanization support high density of population. The areas of average fertility, modest rainfall, less developed irrigational facilities and to some extent stony, sandy surface sustain moderate density of population. It also keeps on changing. As you may find in the figure, the density of population in India was as low as 77% per square kilometer in 1901. It has steadily increased from 90% per square kilometer in 1931 to 382 persons per square kilometer in 2011. You would be interested to know which is the most densely populated states, union territories of India. For that, you may have to see the census reports. According to the census 2011, the NCT of Delhi has the highest density of population, 11,297 persons per square kilometer, followed by Chandigarh, 9,252 persons per square kilometer. Arunachal Pradesh has the lowest density, 17 persons per square kilometer. Among the states, Bihar has the highest density of population, that is 1,102 persons per square kilometer. It is human nature that the people like to live in the areas where resources are easily available. These resources may be fresh water, fertile soil, food and shelter. Opportunity of these resources is influenced by geographical features, which cause uneven distribution, and therefore, density and distribution of population are also uneven. We can divide the factors which affect distribution and density of population into two broad categories: physical and socio-economic. Physical factors: relief, climate, soil. You may have visited a mountainous area or a valley, and also a mountains are less populated than the plains. Relief, which represents the differences in elevation and slope between the higher and lower parts of land surface of a given area, directly affects the accessibility of the area. The areas which are easily accessible, we find the plains are densely populated and the area or rocky relief like mountainous and plateaus are not. Climate: favorable climate provides convenient living condition of human beings. The higher density of population is found in the area where the climate is favorable, but areas with harsh climate, that is areas that are too hot, too cold, too dry and too wet, have lower density of population. In India, the area having dry climate such as Rajasthan and the area with extreme cold climate such as the valley in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand have low density of population. Soil. Human beings depend upon the quality of soil for agriculture. Areas of fertile soil can therefore support large population. That is why the region of fertile soil such as the alluvial plains of North India and coastal plains have higher density of population. On the other hand, the areas with less fertile soil like part of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh have low density of population. Socio-economic factors, industrialization and urbanization. As you always find, large number of people reside in the areas having industries. They also prefer to live in the urban areas, towns and cities. This is because these areas support several economic activities and offer lots of employment opportunities. The education areas, we are aware that large cities of India like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Kolkata and many more have high density of population due to industrialization and urbanization. Transport and communication. Areas of northern plain are very well connected, whereas northeastern areas have comparatively poor connectivity. All such areas where the public facilities are well developed have a comparatively higher density of population. Sometimes we find that the places cultural and religious significance are also densely populated. Thus, we can say that the high density population in the Ganga plains due to combination of factors: plain land, fertile soil, favorable climate, industrialization and urbanization, and comparatively well developed means of transport and communication. On the other hand, factors like rugged hilly area, terrain, unfavorable climate, poor means of transport and communication together cause low density of population in areas like those in Arunachal Pradesh. Growth of population. The Indian population has been growing since long. From a population of 238 millions in the year 1901, it increased to 1210 millions in 2011 and is still growing. The increase in population is more than 5 times within a span of 110 years. Population of any country increase or decrease because of 3 main demographic factors: birth rate, death rate, migration. A number of socio-economic factors also influence birth rate and death rate, which ultimately affect population change. However, you may find in figure that in our country the main reason for rapid increase in population, is high birth rate, low death rate. The migration as a factor has rather negligible influence on population growth at the national level. However, it has influence at local and regional level. If we study the figure carefully, you will find that death rate has been declined since 1921. The birth rate also started declining during the same period. However, the decline in death rate has been faster than that of birth rate. That is why the gap between birth rate and death rate has been widening, leading to increase in population. The population is also visible in the figure. The decadal growth rate have declined marginally between 1991 and 2001, sign but you may be surprised to know that in spite of decreasing growth rates, the absolute population has been increasing continuously over the successive years. Based on the outcome of birth rate and death rate, the entire period since 1911 to 2011 has been divided into 4 groups: stagnant, steady, rapid and slowing down stages of population growth. As we find right from the beginning of the 20th century, the population of India has been increasingly in absolute numbers except during 1921 when there was a decline in absolute number. After 1921, there has been a continuous rising trend. That is why the census year of 1921 is called the year of the Great Divide in the demographic history of India. Let us try to understand the reasons for the fast rate of population growth in India. The most significant factors are illiteracy and low level of education, unsatisfactory health and nutritional status and poverty. There are some other crucial socio-cultural factors like preferences for male child, early marriage, religious belief and low status of women. Population composition. Till now, you would have been able to understand that the net effect of the differences between birth rate and death rate determines the pace and trend of growth of population change. This net effect also demonstrates the composition of population, which is an important factor influencing not only the pace of population growth, but also the quality of population as a human resource. What is population composition? Population composition is the description of population defined by characteristics such as age composition, sex composition, rural-urban composition, literacy. The age composition of population has significant implication for the current and future development of a country. Population has been traditionally divided into 3 broad age groups: children 0 to 14 years, adult 15 to 60 years and old more than 60 years. The figure shows age composition of Indian population in the discussed earlier mentioned group. If we compare the data from 1971, it is obvious that the child population is declining and the population of adult has been increasingly. However, population of the old is also increasing except 2011 census. In this way, the share of dependent population is decreasing. Population of the old and children put together constitutes the dependent population. When the number of dependent population increase, the dependency ratio goes up. As a result, the country has to invest more on the growth and development of children and welfare of the old people. Otherwise, the same resources can be used for other productive purpose. Sex composition. Sex composition is a very significant indicator of the quality of population of a country as a human resource. In fact, primarily it is understood on the basis of sex ratio. Sex ratio is defined as the number of females as per 1000 males. It is an important social indicator to measure the extent of prevailing equity between males and females at a given point of time. Sex ratio should be favorable, but in our country, sex ratio has always remained unfavorable to female and The matter of concern is that it has been declining. In the year 1901, there were 972 females as per 1000 males. In 2011, it has come down to 940 only. This trend is shown in the figure. Let us think why sex ratio is unfavorable in our country. It is primarily because of the prevailing discrimination against the females. Rural-urban composition. India has been a land of farmers and a country of villages. At the beginning of the 20th century, 9 out of the 10 persons used to live in villages. More than 3/4 of our population still lives in rural areas. The urban area in India is defined as one in which 3/4 of the population depends directly or indirectly on non-agricultural pursuits, with a minimum of 5,000 population and the density being not less than 4,000 persons per square kilometer, and should have municipality, town area or municipal corporation. See the figure. We are moving rather fast towards urbanization, along with its consequence such as shortage of housing, water, electricity and demonstration on environment. Literacy. Literacy is an indicator of development of any society. As defined in the census report, a person aged 7 and above who can both read and write with understanding in any language is treated as literate. See the figure. Literacy rate in our country was 18.33% in 1951. It has increased to 74.04% in 2011. We have been thus able to understand that the population of any country cannot become its greatest resource only by virtue of its number. The country has to invest to improve the quality of demographic characteristics and convert the number into resources. For converting the number into human resources, India, like many other countries of the world, has been adopting and implementing policies and programs. Population policies in India. Do you know that discussion on population growth and the need to adopt a population policy had begun in India even before independence? A subcommittee on population was set up by the National Planning Committee appointed in 1938 by the Indian government. This committee in its resolution in 1940 said, in the interest of social economy, family happiness and national planning, family planning and a limitation of children are essential. In 1952, India was the first country in the world to launch a national population program emphasizing family planning.